Welcome to Grey Primer. My name is Nick, I'm your host, and this is day 4 of our Warhammer 40k weekend. And we're going to be looking at Craftworlds Battleforce. So we're here at day 4 of our Warhammer 40k weekend, and we've reached the Craftworlds Battleforce here, which is another lovely big set. I said it about the Genestealer cults. You know, these things were built for Christmas. Nice big box to open. Loads going on in there. This amazing guy here. And I think it's going to be interesting to sort of go through lots of vehicles and things in this as well as that big mech. Wraithknight. It's a Wraithknight. And again, this is going to be another one of these sets that amalgamates a lot of older kits. And we'll see again from the sprues what dates those are. I have a feeling that the Eldar or Aeldari are going to go back through the years somewhat. But we'll see as soon as we get in there and start looking at some plastic. Back soon. Alright, so here is the Battleforce from Craftworlds, the Asuryani Bladehost. 22 Citadel miniatures, one very large miniature in the middle of it. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what that looks like built. I've seen them before in display cabinets in the likes of Dungeons and Donuts in Galway, different Warhammer, Games Workshop stores. And people are so incredibly inventive with the color schemes they go with. So this is the more traditional sort of look, I think, the red and black. So in my archives, I found an old white dwarf. This is from June of 2011. And I found this page, Wardens of the Dying Worlds. So I'm guessing that's what we're looking at here. Certainly, if you look at the design here on this craft, it is, let me see. Yep, there it is there. The very same painted miniature, I would imagine, is what's featured here on this box art. So that's kind of cool. And let's have a look at the back. We have our Farseer with his singing spear. We got the Dire Avengers with their amazing helmets. That is just all the way up there, that helmet. We got the Guardian Defenders. Is there a Marvel theme here? Seriously? The Avengers? The Defenders? The Guardians? Why have I never noticed this? And then we have our shuriken catapult. Ooh, wow, look at that storm cannon. They hover? I hope they hover. Variation on there, scatter laser. What else have we got? Wind Riders. We have the Viper, which is the larger vehicle. And then the big dude, which is the Wraithknight. Wow. Oh, that's magic looking. And then the breakdown over here. So we got our 1 Farseer, we've got our 10 Guardian Defenders, we got our 5 Dire Avengers, 3 Wind Riders, a Viper, and a Wraithknight. Loads! And like we did with the Genestealers and the Blood Angels, we'll have a look at the dates on the sprues here. Magazine's 2011 that we looked at there, so I'm imagining, oh, that's a lot of plastic. I'm imagining there's going to be a few classic sprues in here as well. You'll generally, like with the Genestealers, will be able to tell by the gaps between the things, like this. That's a gappy sprue, so I'm thinking that's going to be a few years back. Let's see if we can find a date. That really is a few years back. 1996. Haha, brilliant. I'm guessing this is the Viper. And just like the Genestealers, it's not like we're sacrificing detail here. There's tons going on. 1996. Amazing. This is another older style sprue. But I think much like the Gene Stealers, it's not like we're saying that they don't have a place. These definitely have a place. Games Workshop has always had some phenomenal sculptors working there. This one's a bit more recent, 2005, which is still 15 years ago. Yikes. Warhammer, Games Workshop, Citadel have always had some phenomenal sculptors. 25 mil round bases. We have, oh no, it's a clear plastic canopy for one of the vehicles, or perhaps the Wraithknight, I'm not sure. That is my absolute nightmare. That brings me back to all of those completely ruined Airfix kits I had when I was a child that always ended up with sort of the plastic cement getting onto them. They were always cloudy and messy. I always thought I could get through the rest of my life without having to go through that trauma. But here we go. Anyway, I'm sure it'll be fine. There's loads in here. So the date on these more sort of tightly packed ones, this one's 2013. And I think these are definitely going to be much more interesting once they're built. This is kind of what sprues look like now once you've taken all the bits off them. Like that looks like a modern empty sprue. Let me just grab one. Look, that's a modern empty sprue. There's actually, it's even tighter packed than this, whatever age this one is. 2004 full sprue. I just love it. Serious weaponry on this one. No messing. Get the empty sprue out of the way because that will confuse me massively later on. Okay. More heavy weapons. Oh, it looks like a standalone miniature here. Oh, nice sculpted base. Like that sort of, this sort of broken plinth or something. Ancient writing on it. Ooh, wow. Look at that sword. Ah, it's magnificent. Very cool. So this is our Wraithknight. I'm guessing. Well, yeah. I'm not guessing. It's a Wraithknight. Ah, this is going to be an absolute treat to put together. And he's going to be big. That's the rest of them. Wow. It's just the way the weapons scale up. I'm guessing this is his base. And then we have more clear plastic base with support struts here. I always find that flying miniatures are tough to prime because you want to retain this clear plastic effect to give it the feeling that they're flying, but you also have to put them onto something stable to prime them. So generally I use like a mixture of toothpicks and stuff to get them into a position where I can prime them, and then a slightly larger base there. Yeah, so I'll like put it on a toothpick, maybe glue it in place temporarily, you know, or a block of like poster putty, you know, blue tack, something like that. Whatever it takes to keep it stable, because you don't want it sort of tilting over mid-spray. There is a bit of plastic here, but I think maybe it's off one of these. Yeah, it is. So it's just something to be removed. It just come off this one here in the box, so that's not damaged. It's fine. It's just waste. And then the larger clear plastic, I guess, for the Viper. Those are nice. I haven't seen those bases before. I haven't built a lot of flying miniatures before. And here we have our Aeldari Farseer. So that was the single sprue from before. Straightforward instructions. Wind Riders. They look easy. Craftworld Guardians. Unusual looking manual. More design heavy. I mean, this is all pretty fancy. It's even got a bit of a muted out design in the background there on this sort of graph paper. Yeah, this is, and whatever all of this stuff is here. There's no way I could possibly read that with my naked eye. I'd need to use this. Oh, it's just, don't cut yourself while putting this together. Viper jetbikes. So I guess they did go with a bit of a sort of a design theme here on their instruction manuals for these. It's kind of nice. It's an extra little touch. I'm not loving the actual instruction itself, which is just random bits and lines, no numbers, none of that fancy stuff. It's just like, find something that looks like this and put it here. Okay, this is going to be fun. Speaking of fun, though, I love me a decal sheet, and these look pretty special. Full color as well. What are these dated at? Copyright 2013. Okay, not that long ago, but stunning designs. Super cool. And 2 sheets of it as well. I'm not sure it's supposed to be 2 sheets in there, but that is what I got. And then the Wraithknight. Please tell me there are numbers. There are not numbers on the Wraithknight. Oh no, there are. I see them now. That's okay. Whew. Oh, cool. So we do have 3 variations. So we've got Wraithknight with heavy Wraith cannons here. This is the Wraithknight with Sun Cannon and Scatter Shield. Oh, I like the shield on the arm there. And that rifle is huge. And then we have Wraithknight with Titanic Goose Glaive and Scatter Shield. Cool. So it kind of stops halfway through and gives you that advice as to how would you like to proceed. And then with the different variant builds at the back. Okay, so old school instructions and some of those which are going to test me out, but I'm sure I'll be fine. Loving that decal, those decal sheets. I think that's a lovely little touch there. But I will be back soon with everything built. Bye bye. And here we are back with the Craftworlds Asuryani Bladehost. Their massive battle force and very tall battle force. Really interesting mix of miniatures here, vehicles, artillery units, walking battle stations. You know, there's a lot going on in this kit, and just sort of have to flick to the back just as a reminder of exactly what's in there. And let's have a look at the Farseer first. He's tucked in just in the side here. And the Farseer comes with the singing spear, is that right? That's a pretty nice mini. Pretty dramatic. Very, modern sort of looking Warhammer mini. With flowing, flicking robes in the wind and very dramatic pose. I like the way he's holding the weapon too. It's not the most important thing right now. Whatever he's doing here with his mind and his hand, that's the most important thing. The weapon's just something that he might need to lean into later, but beautifully sculpted. And let's have a look at let's see, what do we got? We have a look at the Guardian Defenders. Yeah, we'll have a look at the Guardian Defenders because they come with that little artillery piece as well. There were nice sort of options for tilting the head and stuff, so you can sort of tilt the head down to be looking along the sights of the weapon. I thought that was a nice thing. There are lots of accessories here that you can put onto the belt for these different, what look like grenades or different types of weapons. And some of them you can sort of kick them out here to give a little bit of drama to it, almost like the miniatures just sort of popped into the shooting stance. And yeah, makes it a bit more dramatic. This one, rather than having the weapon sort of across the hand here, sort of slung across with both hands on it, I thought it would be nice to have him in a bit more of a heroic stance. The hand doesn't really work all that well. It's still quite open looking. Yeah, very cool. Again, you can see the accessories hanging off the belt, the different types of these, whatever these struts are that come out of their backpacks. I'm sure they have a purpose. And as you can see, some of the figures are female. They're sort of just mixed through male and female. And here's the next one. You can see again, no helmet on this one, but a more sort of, he's kind of back on that right foot, supporting himself for looks like a long range shot, like a Hail Mary shot across the battlefield with that rifle. And then we've got a different type of helmet there again, the more sort of common helmet. A different type of backpack as well. You can see the accessories again here on the belt. But a nice pose there. I think it's, there's enough variety between each of those to not make it feel you're just making the same miniature over and over and over again. And that's pretty cool looking. It's a pretty cool race. And it's interesting that, and this has got this different type of weapon here as well, which tubes right into the backpack. And it's sort of pointing down the field there as well. It's like, you're next, buddy. Yeah, what I was going to say was that it's interesting that there are so many years that are covered by the different sprues in this kit, but it doesn't feel like they are mismatched. It doesn't feel like you're trying to make something fit and make something work. It just works. The stuff looks good together. These are the more sort of standard troops of this Guardian Defender unit, but still pretty cool. And again, here you got a variant on the backpack with these different sort of very samurai looking supports or whatever these structures are here at the back. There's definitely sort of a space samurai element to these. Sci-fi samurai. And now let's have a look at the... Oh, yes, sorry. So this artillery piece comes with it as well, which is pretty special looking. And I like that a lot. And you don't glue the weapon here, so you can still rotate that. And then it's on kind of this, like a hover platform. You just pop it into one of these holes in the base, and it gives that sort of feeling that it is hovering there. But that was kind of nice to build. I really enjoyed that little weapon. And it comes with this sort of the Guardian Defenders unit. So let's have a look at the Dire Avengers, which are kind of like the Guardian Defenders, but glammed up a little bit with a few more serious looking weapons. Like, these guys look cool. Got this whole gladiator helmet deals going on. Some of them have swords. Let's have a look at one of the sword wielders here. And he's got this, he's pointing underneath the rifle. He's got the sword up. That's cool. And another Dire Avenger here. And it's got that nice spear there as well. Yeah, I really like these guys. I thought they added that kind of elite look to them. They get the special weapons. They get the cool hair. And this guy here is just, he's just pure cool. And I thought, just this pose and him looking sort of, he's got the rifle sort of braced here, got a few little Craftworlds icons hanging off it. And I just thought it would be really neat to have him have a sword on his back as well. That he'd be the type to have a sword. He looked like he had that kind of I know I'm cool. So obviously I'm going to bring a sword. So let's have a look at the Vipers. No, we'll have a look at the Wind Riders. I think we only need to look at one, really. They're very similar. They're on flying base. Nice long noses, the weapons all the way underneath the nose there. And with the flying base, you can have them sort of positioned whatever you want, way you want. Have them slightly banking or, going down to land or climbing there. And there's some sort of modifications for this panel here. You can have that flush or sitting up like this to give almost like a display feeling. And I liked as well the idea that the minis can add quite a bit of character just by the tilt of their head. And this guy's riding along, but he's looking off to the right-hand side there. And you could even sort of have him banking, in towards it, something like that, to give it the feel that he's looking over there and banking in. I thought that was kind of a nice touch. And then we go on to the Viper, which does come with a clear plastic canopy. But I've left it off for now so that, the inside can be painted. And it's kind of a nice looking ship. I love the turret on the back. I love that there's a guy just sort of sitting there. He's got his own control panel and everything. And that's so cool. Like, imagine that thing flying at you. Love that. And then we're on to the big dude. What can I say about the Wraithknight model? Would I buy this separately? Would I, see sort of value for money in it separately? And I have to say yes. It was so much fun to put together. It is a massively tall, inverted commas, miniature, packed with firearms, packed with sort of personality, and very much sort of a samurai sort of feel to it. You can see the text on the back there. The whole feel is of feudal Japan in space. These massive lasers as well. What are these called? Heavy wraith cannons. And I was able to put hands underneath them that made me feel like when he fires them, this is what he does with his hands. He's just like, ah. Like the energy's almost coming out from his fist. And I thought that was just a really dramatic way to build this miniature. I mean, look at that from that angle. The hands are both splayed out. You got the guns, these wraith cannons, the shoulder cannons here as well. Everything's pointing in the same direction that the mini's looking. You have these incredibly ornate sort of armor panels all over. The head itself you could pose it nicely. With such a large miniature, I felt like it was possible to make it not feel like a massive titan, like this sort of huge stomping mech. This thing felt fast and fluid and alien and dangerous. It is just a joy to behold. I absolutely love that. What a great miniature to finish off our 4-day Warhammer weekend. It started 4 days ago with the Blood Angels Captain with our Start Collecting set, and now it's ending with this huge Wraithknight. And it's been fun. I loved the Craftworlds. I love the look of them. They were challenging because the actual sprues and the instructions were dated. But still, it was a good challenge. It was good fun. It was a good way to sort of flex the skill set. The Gene Stealer cults were a massive hit with me. I love that Goliath rock grinder. I think it's one of the best vehicles I've ever built. Again, a challenge there with converting sort of Imperial Army or Astra Militarium into the cultists. That was a challenge, and that was fun as well. And then we had the Sector Mechanicus scenery kits, which really would be phenomenal in any battlefield. Will give you a huge amount of experience in weathering techniques and different types of painting that you might not have tried before, or certainly giving you a big enough canvas to experiment on. Right back to our first day, which was the Blood Angels, of course, the Start Collecting kit, which is going to be the backbone of my new Blood Drinkers army that I'm going to be building. So listen, thank you so much for joining me. If you join me for one part or all 4 parts of it, I really appreciate that you take the time to go through this stuff with me. If you have any suggestions, any feedback, pop it into the comments below. Please remember to like and subscribe and share. I will also be putting the affiliate link to Mighty Lancer Games down below. And I guess that just sort of draws me over to next week. What's coming up next week? Will I leave Warhammer completely behind? No. And I'm not even going to leave 40k completely behind. I want to look at a couple of Codex books. I'm going to look at Adeptus Sororitas, and I'm going to look at Blood Angels. As a new player to 40k, what's in there for me? Is it just going to be so much stuff that it's going to be overwhelming? Or is it just going to add richness to the lore? Is it going to get me deeper and deeper into it? And is it going to make me want to go and buy more miniatures? But that's next week. So that's the Blood Angels and the Adeptus Sororitas Codex books. And I'm going to have a leaf through those. But until then, please take care of yourselves. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.